on.
And hello, welcome to Solo Playthroughs. I have to turn a microphone off in my ear. Alright, I don't think you were hearing that, but I was hearing that, and that was loud. So, yeah, turn the computer audio off, Greg, before you start streaming. Otherwise, you get a 30-second delayed version of what you were saying live. And that is not helpful for anybody. So, hello, welcome to Cloudspire Chapter 3 of the Heirs. It's good. This is probably one of the first scenarios that I'm like, I don't love this one so much. It feels a little bit like samey as the last one because you're just doing a lot of landmark attacking. I'd much prefer the scenarios where it's really you and the other faction and boom, you got to get into it with the nitty gritty, like a lot of the Brandon factions where this one's like, oh, can you defeat all the landmarks? And that's just like a different kind of puzzle. That said, I get what it does, or at least I think I get what it does, in that it really accentuates the importance of the Elfinkazi and just how the heirs work. And I also feel like this scenario is like a more advanced tutorial of the entirety of what's going on with the Narora, which I will probably appreciate down the line when I get more into the Naroran faction. But again, as far as scenarios go, this is not one I would expect to come back to very often, unless I'm just really just trying to get through the entirety of all of the solo scenarios. So I'm trying to think if I made any mistakes in the last video I wanted to touch on. Obviously, Cloudspire has been a little bit of a journey for me, but really huge thanks again to all the people in the chat who kind of gently nudged me toward a more proper understanding of the rules. Again, getting the rules right is something I take very, very seriously with this channel and how I try to approach these games and how I want to present these games, both for the sake of you, the viewers, also for the sake of the publishers and the designers who spent all the time making the decisions in how to create these games. So why, who am I to screw that up, right? So here we go. This is only 4 waves, which is pretty cool. So that does kind of make it super nice and concise. And basically what's going on is Keem has found something he was looking for. I'll get through the story time with Greg in a second. And there are some landmark tips, so we need to always survive. We need to defeat some of those landmark chips, and we're going to need to get Keem safely back to his home fortress. There are a fair amount of rules ambiguities. Chip theory games, that's what they do, I guess, sometimes. So those could be a little bit much, but I think I'm making an educated guess on a lot of them. And anything you see wrong, again, please put that in the comment section below, and we'll get this thing correct. ID Jester says, hello there, Solo. Hello to you, sir. I don't know if Cloudspire is another one of the games that you jumped into, but this game is pretty awesome and presents a pretty ridiculous puzzle every time. Even this scenario, I don't love it, but again, that's compared to the other scenarios that I love just more, but this is still a very satisfying experience for sure. It's a little swingy. You're going to be really dependent on what landmark chips come out where. I don't know if I said that right the first time, but we'll see how that all comes together. So let me kind of get to the setup, and then we'll do the story time with Greg, and we'll go from there. So there are going to be 4 monolants on the board, or I say really isn't a board, on the on this on these mats, the name of which I'm forgetting, and then we're going to have 2 of them here have this one and this one have 2 attack upgrades, a fortification upgrade, and a range upgrade. And then this one and this one have a fortification upgrade, an attack upgrade. I'm sorry, a range upgrade, a attack upgrade, a fortification upgrade, and then another range upgrade. So they'll all go there. This is going to be our market chips. Again, with all the expansions, you do end up with a ton of market chips. I am not a big market guy. A lot of times when I'm playing solo, I might not even mess with the market and won't even bother setting it up, because it's just a thing. And you know, sometimes I feel as you get the right market chip, it can really break open your game in a way that, you know, it isn't the my favorite way to experience this game. So and Not having to shuffle these chips between every game is also a nice advantage of not playing with the market chips. So I'm just going to kind of do some semblance of randomization here, and we'll get these in the tray over here to hold our market during our game. Looking at chat, I keep looking at this game, but for me, it doesn't inspire me to pick it up and play it. So no, I don't have it. To be honest, there's so many other games I want to get instead. Yeah, I definitely get that. This one especially is quite the investment. So going in, oh, of course, well, I saw that one. I'll just throw it in the back there. It is what it is. Quite the investment, and was still holds the title as my least favorite learn in all of my experience on solo board games. But now it's a top 10 game for me. So some of that could just be, human psychology. I put so much into learning it that now it's like, oh, I love it. It's amazing. But no, it really is a very, very cool game. Chip Theory, a lot of their games are going to potentially be acquired taste. That even goes for Too Many Bones. I'm still amazed at how popular Too Many Bones is, considering. But again, it's zany, it's wacky, it's different. And people have really just kind of rallied around it. But with that rule book and how heavy it is to learn each new gear lock, and some of the lack of balance during gameplay, I'm surprised that it got so popular. And again, I love it, but again, there's still times where it's like, what the heck was that? It's a weird design choice. But I think once you start to realize that the kind of the craziness of that game is more of a feature as opposed to a flaw, as opposed to a bug, if you're going to go by the normal thing, it kind of makes more sense. Cloudspire has less of that, less of the zaniness. It's still Chip Theory, it's still wild. There's still a bunch of stuff going on, but it's definitely more balanced and more, I think, tuned for like people who really want like a pure puzzly experience. What did I think? At some point, I said if you have Too Many Bones and Maze Knight had a baby, it would be this. And like that's not entirely accurate, but I still kind of feel that it kind of gives me a little bit of that puzzly, going out, exploring the world, engaging encounters with various enemies across the map, while giving me that chip theory, the chip theory quality, while giving me the chip theory, some of the gameplay elements, the keywords, so forth and so on. All right. Only reason I keep looking at it is because it's ranked so highly by you. Well, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a good one, man. It really is. Pocket Magnet UK managed 3 renown on this the other day. Keem's starting location was important, and a good market helped me. Heroes, you can't use other barracks heroes. Yeah, it's pretty wild how his starting location matters a lot. The landmark chips you get matter a lot. I mean, all of it's just totally zany. And again, if you can get an early hero in the market, but again, that early hero's got to be wave 2, right? Because you have no income. So, if the market works out for you well, that could be really important as well. I have gotten 3 renown on this a couple of times by the skin of my teeth. There's some things I'm not clear about that I'll kind of go through. I'll kind of mention as we go through. And again, some of these newer games, it's really hard to get the FAQs. There's not as a robust wealth of Q&A as you would hope for in like BGG. And then again, the Chip Theory website still has wrong information about how the Elfinkazi works. So that still blows my mind that I haven't updated that. Getting 3 renown probably means I made a rules error, though. I know that feeling, Rocket, for sure. All right. Let me go to Storytime with Greg. So we are in Heirs Chapter 3 as a review. Remember last time, when we picked up the Heirs story, they were being bombarded by the Brahmin, and then they fought back, and they were like, get away from our house, you ugly Brahmin. And the Elfinkazi had to be very, what's the word? Delicately? Resourcefully? I don't know. Meticulously? There's a word I'm trying to think of, but I can't get there. But had to basically defeat the Brahmin spires, and then we had Brazen Blitz. And we're like, all right, well, we fought the Brahmin back. Let's go after the Grove Tenders and the Narora. And there was like a mess of landscapes in the center, and we had to like peel those off and whatever. I got 2 renown on that on camera. But we had to defeat both the Grove Tender Fortress and the Naroran Fortress, and now we're like, well, let's go further, deeper into seeing what we can do with the Naroran. The heirs, they're kind of arrogant. They kind of think they're the rightful owners of Ankar, and so now they're basically trying to prove themselves in the land of Ankar. So, Heirs Chapter 3. Through interrogation of mercenaries who'd previously worked in Nantha, the heirs had learned of a Naroran technology that focused and intensified source extraction, providing an ample supply of purified source for the Narora to consume and bathe in. One of these so-called source cores was believed to be housed in a facility in the mountainous region surrounding Izglu Peak, and the Royal Talon Commander Keem Kenai was on orders to retrieve it at all costs. Keem was an heir that took at all costs very seriously. After fruitlessly searching the mountain regions of Asma for days, one of Keem's search party found what she was looking for, a quartet of glowing blue orbs a couple of mountains north, slowly bobbing as they ascended on an ancient causeway. A faint cyan haze emitted from what appeared to be an opening further up the summit. The Narora must be getting infusions at the source core, Keem concluded. Joust! A penguin blood snapped to attention. Ride back to our main camp as fast as you can, Keem ordered. Let them know what we're located. Let them know that we've located the source core and could use some light reinforcements. She marked the spot where the distant Aurora had been seen on the map and handed it to the penguin blood. He saluted her and hopped on his ostrich, which quickly whisked him out of sight. I have to look at his art. I don't think I ever realized that the joust was actually two creatures in one. So the joust is literally a penguin sitting on an ostrich. That is amazing. Man, this game. Incredible. So we have Narora Borealis. There is a carryover. If you completed the landmark scenario in scenario 2, start with the scenario all landmarks revealed. Well, on camera I didn't. Off camera I did, but I'm going to leave them unrevealed. I just find that more interesting. For sure, and a little bit more challenging. The only other thing I need to do in setup is I need to roll this d6, and this is going to determine the starting location of Keem. I rolled a 5. So Keem gets placed over here in this corner. Nobody puts Keem in the corner. That's false. I put Keem in the corner. So we're going to do that. We're going to then flip this page, and we also need to set up our starting landmark chips. So I'm going to shuffle the 7 swamp landmark chips, and then you have these other 2 types. And honestly, I've never learned the names of these other types. There's just 7 of each if you have the Portal Seekers expansion. The Portal Seekers only give you, I think, 1 more landmark chip. Is that right? Yeah, they give you the crazy goats. So now when you have 21, you have 7 of each. It's super nice. We're going to put a swamp landmark chip here and here. So I'm going to start with here. I'm rolling a D8. So number 1 is going to be nope, I always go bottom to top, right? Yeah. No, I go top to bottom when I do this. I don't know what I do. I have 6 left landmark chips. I rolled a 3. I'm going to go top to bottom. If I don't normally do that, I'm doing it this time, so deal with it. I have 19 landmark chips left, rolling a D20. 15, that's going to go here. So there's 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. I have 18 left. I rolled a 20. Well, that's not helpful. We're going for this one, by the way. That's a 3. So we get a swamp landmark chip over there. We have 17 left. That's an 11. So 4, 9, 10, 11. That goes there. And then there's one more source that needs to be covered. We have 16 left. That's a 12. I was like, that's a 21. No, that's a 12, dude. Numbers are hard. So that's 10, 11, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that's correct. And now all these can come out of the game. Done and done. We are going to read the special rules. So there are 3 objectives. Return Keem to the Heir Fortress. Now, what's not clear to me is, can you return Keem to the Heir Fortress and then redeploy him, and that still counts? I think that counts. So I don't know. It is what it is. I tend to play that I don't return him into the fortress, and I just use the Elfin Kazi with their save ability. But we'll see how I want to play that. This playthrough, locate the source core by defeating and discarding 5 landmarks. So what's not clear about that is like, well, if the Narora defeat a landmark chip and then it's discarded, does that count toward the 5 or does that not count toward the 5? I kind of think that it does count toward the 5. It's unclear. The win requirements in scenario 4 are impacted if you do that objective. And then Keem has not been defeated at the end of wave 4, so you cannot have Keem defeated. Scenario rules: Darb and Jelena Nestor may not be selected for deployment. These are the other 2 heroes from the heirs. I will just take them out of the game. I'm actually going to take these 2 out of the game as well. The 2 Naroran heroes that we won't use. And then AI rules: after the Narora purchases Zora Temple 1 source barrier advancement, it activates the first time each wave of the Heir Fortress gate is attacked to negate up to 2 damage. So the source barrier enhancement allows the Naroran faction to spend a source. If you're playing as a human player is playing them, they can spend a source to negate damage. Now with the AI rules, basically the Narorans just are going to automatically trigger that the first time they're attacked. But again, we do not need to defeat their gate. We do not need to defeat their fortress. So that's not a concern. That's one thing I do like, the scenarios where you have to defeat the fortress a little bit more than the scenarios that you don't. So that's just like, I don't know, a mental thing. I like to destroy things, people. Greg likes destruction. So marks: heirs Naroran the heirs mark is an Naroran fortress gate. So we're going to take the heirs chip, we're putting it over here. All of the heirs minions are trying to get here. The Naroran marks. The Naroran mark is the Heir Fortress gate, so all the Naroran minions are trying to get here. Additionally, if Anjabin ends up on the board, Anjabin's mark is going to be the closest opposing faction unit, so any of the heirs faction units. And then leveling is the fortification upgrade. So if Anjabin defeats somebody, it's hard for him to defeat units, but not impossible. If he defeats somebody, then he will get an upgrade, and he will take fortification upgrades. He has 2 dots, so he can have 2 upgrades if he defeats 2 of the Naroran heroes, or 2 of the heirs units. Event die results: we will roll the event die only 3 times in this playthrough. On a 1 through a 3, we will place Anjabin at the bottom of the Naroran deployment stack, even if he's been previously defeated. And then it's weird, because if he's already in play, he'll self-destruct at the end of the Naroran's first turn during the onslaught phase, this wave. What I don't understand about that is it says that the regular Anjabin goes in play, but the upgraded Anjabin self-destructs. So I assume it just means that the regular Anjabin in play will just be upgraded and self-destruct. It's just weird. It should be clear, hey, flip him over and then self-destruct, because there's no mechanism for Anjabin to upgrade to a hero status. And AI units they'll get their levels, like he'll use, like if he killed 2 units, he would get 2 upgrades, but there's no mechanism for a AI hero in a solo game to promote on their own. But again, I'm assuming it just means that, hey, because self-destruct is on the upgraded side of Anjabin, that's the one that will self-destruct. But again, so I guess it's pretty obvious, but still weird. It should have been a little bit more spelled out, at least in my humble opinion. And then 4 through 6, we're going to add a fortification upgrade to the bottom of all Naroran spires. And that could be super problematic, because we are going to want to defeat a couple of these spires. At minimum, we want to get these stupid range chips out the way if we can help it. So going to the chat, Jester, so you speak another language. The Brohan were attacked by the Aurorans with the Tomb of Ken when the Mountains of Kerrigan. Oh my god. Nice. Rocket Magnet: I find it harder with reveal landmarks personally. Toxic and foreboding right outside your gate is pretty nasty. Ooh, that's really, that's I could see that being a problem. That's amazing. Wow. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, I mean, again, there's something about this scenario I kind of wish, like, I do wish they didn't use all the landmark chips. I'm like, I think they would have been better to say, hey, take out these landmark chips and just use these ones to make for more balance and more, because you don't want to like tell you exactly what landmark chips to use, right? That just destroys all replayability. Not destroys, but it would change. It would just make it a super like solvable puzzle much more. But there are some of these landmark chips that really add to a swinginess, and I felt this way about the last scenario too, where I don't think it was to their benefit to just leave it all and let chaos reign. It just seemed almost like a little bit lazy from a design perspective, right? Like just dude, like make sure this is balanced, make sure that I'm getting a higher quality playthrough. But again, that's part of Chip Theory's thing, right? Like they just chaos reigns. I mean, too many bones. Like you'll set up entire battle mats and then be knocked out before you even have a turn. It's part of the DNA of a Chip Theory game that you either just kind of get used to, or you just kind of, so, go buy games from a different company. So it is what it is. We all know what I've chosen, so clearly that says something. So let's get to wave one. So the heirs have priority in wave one. We have our income phase. We have our market phase as normal. In the market phase, we're going to reveal 3 market chips. I'm not going to have the money to afford any of them, so I'm not going to waste too much time there. And then we will flip over 1 Earthscape. In the build phase, the Narorans are going to purchase Forgotten Graves 3. That basically allows them to get all their units back after they're defeated. If you were playing, if you was this a player-controlled faction, again, unlike most factions, you don't get your units back after they're defeated until you've actually upgraded your gate. So it's just another wrinkle in the Naroran play. But basically, the setup here takes that out of concern, says, nope, the Narorans are going to get all their units back. And then in the prep phase, we're going to have 3 CP to spend on units. The Narorans are going to, I'm going to do all the Naroran stuff first and then kind of deal with what I do during the build and prep. It's just easier that way for me, keeps my head more organized. So we're going to get 3 units in the deployment stack for the Narorans. We have a burnout with 3 health. That's going to be on top of another burnout with 3 health. And then we have a drift under that with 3 health. Now remember, the Narorans are a little unique in that even their minions don't have a regular and a promoted side. They have distinct and unique minions on all sides of pretty much all of their chips, which makes them a little bit harder to kind of learn and prepare for. So I read upgrade to so Rocket's saying that he kind of reads Angerman as upgrade him to that and then self-destruct. That makes some sense. I just wish they actually used those words. It would have saved me about 10 minutes of Googling. All right, Jester, okay to be honest, if you just get the base game, is it worth it? Or do you need a bunch of expansion to make this game interesting and playable? This game, you just need the base. I mean, I haven't even touched the faction expansions other than adding market chips and adding 1 landmark chip. Portal Seekers, for the most part, I mean, I don't think there's much in there that is, I mean, I guess there's a few Earthscapes too from Portal Seekers, but they are absolutely not necessary to experience this game. If you just had the base game, you get the 4 factions, you get 16 solo scenarios. That might sound like not a lot, but dude, it's hours and hours of gameplay in those 16 solo scenarios. And then for every faction expansion you're adding 4 more solo scenarios, a bunch more co-op scenarios, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And then if you're playing with other people, obviously competitively, those 4 factions give you a lot of replay for sure. There's a lot of interesting stuff that happens in those 4 factions alone. This is not like Too Many Bones, where you're going to really want to get the base game, and you're probably going to want to get Slice and Dice, and you're probably going to want Age of Tyranny or 40 Days of Daylore. I mean, this is a product. The expansions are just like, I went all in on the Kickstarter because I'm, psychotic and have a problem, but not to make light of people who have mental health issues. Man, 2022, it's a complicated thing, man. It's like, everything's harder to say. But yeah, like I went all in because I just figured I would really like this game, and I as much as I hated learning it, like this was always felt like a game that was made for me. But yeah, you can get away with just a base game if you can pick it up at a decent price. I would definitely recommend doing that for sure. All right, let's with my 3 CP, I'm going to get a Joust, which is kind of crazy just starting with 1 unit, but I find the Joust a much more effective intro than getting 3 Harriers for sure. Rocket Magnet UK, endless mode and co-op scenarios for solo plus competitive play. Yeah, thanks, Rocket. I agree. He said what I was trying to say, but a lot more succinctly. Because I'm a little bit too verbose. A little bit, just a wee bit too verbose. All right, the heirs are first. This is an interesting setup because what this landmark chip is going to really define a lot of how I experience this playthrough. But I'm going to reveal it anyway, and it's a little risky, but we should be okay. Remember, Keem is flying, and I have him on the promoted side because that is wrong. But he's flying, and none of these Naroran units have air defense, so none of these Naroran units can actually attack Keem. So he's pretty safe here. The question is, can we reveal this and then kind of move all the way over? Sajid says, wait, looks like you forgot to put your mage on the map. I mean, I can get one out if you want, dude. And then Jester says, thanks, guys, for the info. Always, man, I appreciate the question. So, Keem is just going to chill there because that's what he wants to do. And the Joust is going to move 1, 2, because we have to use all their movement and make at least some progress. And the only option for the Joust is, 1, 2. We are now going to have Spires fire. None of the Naroran Spires have range to either Keem or neither. None of the. I don't know. They don't have range to us. Whatever. We'll leave it at that. English. And then we're now going to do the exploration part of the movement phase. So I'm going to reveal this chip. It is a bounty hunter, and the bounty hunter has fair fight. I will keep him revealed. And that will work well. So I'm going to keep him revealed. He has 4 health, and I like that there. And the Joust is now going to reveal the swamp thing first. It is the source peddler. I will put him back. It's interesting to know that that's there. Maybe I reveal him. I just don't want the Joust to have to fight him and then get absolutely punished. So we're going to put that back, and then we're going to reveal this. It is a secret passage. So I don't love this chip here by any means, because this could make this super hard. So the secret passage is going to come in with 1 health, and then the secret passage has, the Lost Caverns. And Lost Caverns has the keyword secret passage. When the ship is revealed, place 1 health under it. You may attack the ship to remove its health. Once its health is removed, heroes may move onto this landmark as if it were a path hex. Then the hero's owner selects an unrevealed landmark under the adjacent isle, swaps his ship and the hero with the unrevealed landmark, and when the hero moves off this landmark, place 1 health on it. So, because there are other chips that I'm not going to be able to ever discard. This is one. So if I get unlucky enough that I got 2 chips I can't discard, that's going to be a problem. I will reveal this. Now, minions can't use this as a path hex, but the heroes can. The Joust is going to attack the Lost Caverns. So that has 0 health left. So now the hero can move on it. And again, if there is health there, Keem would not be able to move on it, but now that I defeated the health that was there, Keem can move on it, if that makes sense. Keem is going to attack the bounty hunter. The bounty hunter is going to retaliate for 1. And I did that because that's going to set me up to be able to kill the bounty hunter with Keem on the next turn and start him promoting. So now we go to the Naroran's turn. The burnout on top is going to make as much progress as possible. This burnout is going to use all of its movement while making as much progress as possible, and the drift is going to move just the 1 because that's as much progress as the drift can make. Remember, normally the minions for the AI would love to punch your hero in the face, but none of these minions have air defense, so they cannot, but they are going to attack. So the first burnout is going to attack the bounty hunter. The bounty hunter retaliates for 1. The second burnout is going to attack the bounty hunter. The bounty hunter retaliates for 1. They're both down to 2 health. Now remember, entropy. Both burnouts have the keyword entropy. If they get reduced down to 1 health, they immediately self-destruct and they do 2 damage to all non-Naroran units. Now they don't do damage to spires, they don't do damage to Naroran units. It is what it is, but they both have 2 health remaining, so that's fine. We now go to the heirs' second turn. The Joust is going to move. Is that right? He is. Oh yeah, they had that second range chip. Just making sure I put this out right. Oh, the Joust. I don't want the Joust to get punched in the face. Oh no. All right. The Joust is going to move 1, 2. The Keem is going to just chill right there. He's kind of stuck. He can't go anywhere anyway. And now the Naroran Spires are going to fire. So the Monolant has 2 range chips, so it is within range of the Joust. Remember, all Spires have a natural range of 1, and then however many range chips they have, they can add additional range. So 1, 1, 2, because they have 2 range chips, so they are within range of the Joust. We're rolling 1 die because there's only 1 attack chip there, and it's 1 damage to our Joust. Keem is going to go ahead and kill the bounty hunter. So that's 1 of 5 chips that has been discarded now. That's going to give us 3 source. I have this little, again, I don't use it on there for the camera, it's too much. So I have this little dial right here, which was sent to me, I think by Rocket, right? Am I making this up? I'm pretty sure Rocket actually sent me these little things, which he 3D printed, which I really, really appreciate it. And now we have our 3 source there, which we're going to need as much source as we can, again, because there was no income in this scenario. So Keem, since he defeated something, he's going to be able to get an upgrade. We're going to go ahead and give him an attack upgrade. Joust is not in range to be able to attack anybody. Remember, minions have to attack if they can, but the Joust can't. So now we just go to the Naroran's second turn. The burnout's going to make as much progress as possible. This burnout's going to make as much progress as possible. Now, leading minion here, they both were equally close to the mark, so I could have chosen which one to go with. I will go with the other burnout. And now the drift can only use 2 of its movement, because again, it only has path allotment. All these only have path allotment with their movement. The drift is going to move 1, 2. It cannot move all 3, and it made as much progress as possible while using as much of its movement as possible. Actually, seeing that, let's do this differently. I'll have the drift go second, 1, 2, 3, and then we'll have the burnout go third. Trying to think if I can kill the burnout. But then I'm gonna get punched in the face by that. Still think that's better to have a burnout lagging. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get around here without getting absolutely smashed by these 2 monoliths. Yeah, if I get Keem up in here within range of this monolith, he's gonna get 2 attack chips rolled at it, and that's not that's not great. I don't like that. All right, let's go to the Heirs turn. Let me check the comments. Good luck to stop my wheelhouse. We'll have to bail later, dude. Thanks for stopping by. And Rocket, yeah, I printed the chip holders. Yeah, my brain, dude. I swear. Just like I can barely remember rules of games anymore. I'm forgetting who sends me things. No, this is cool, man. They're really, really good. I was pretty sure of that, but there was like one of those moments where I was like doubting myself, because I'm like, oh man, if I got this wrong. Well, that's right. I thought Sajid was named Daniel for about 7 months, so we all know that I'm losing whatever grip on reality I had at some point. So we go to the Heirs' third turn. The Joust is going to go 1, 2, and Keem is going to go 1, 2, and 3. Now Keem is staying out of the range of that monolith, but he's also not in range to attack anybody, which is going to have to be fine. I do want to get him to be able to turn this corner and only get attacked by this one monolith, so this is where I want Keem. The Joust is going to do a quick strike. So before he gets fired upon, he gets to do an attack. Yoink. That takes away that range chip from that monolith. And now the spires are going to attack the Joust. Please, no damage or 1 damage. It's like no damage. It's close. And now the Joust is down to 1 health and will not survive long in this world. Maybe I should have taken some Harriers the way this played out. I just like the Joust having to attack, just because the chance of being able to take out one of our fortification ships is really, really high. But alas, it's not going to work. But we will overcome. We now go to the Heirs' third turn. So the burnout is the leading minion. It is the closest to the mark. So the burnout's moving. Max distance is moving 1, 2. The drift is going to lose max distance. Now the drift has 2 things: camouflage and incorporeal. Camouflage means it can't be attacked unless you are attacking it with an adjacent unit or spire. Incorporeal means that if it had enough movement, it doesn't displace like other units, but it will literally move through one of your units. And if it moves through one of your units, it takes one of your source. So that can be super, super nasty. And we'll see how that plays out. So the drift is definitely the leading minion, and we have to figure out where can it go, and then we could choose from there. So using all of its movement, it can go 1, 2, 3 there, or it can go 1, 2, 3 there, or it can go 1, 2, 3 there, go 1, 2, 3 there. Which of these hexes are going to be closest to its mark? So this hex gets it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away from the mark. This hex gets it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 away from the mark. So I can, as a legal movement, go 1, 2, 3. You are not required to move minions for the AI in the way that's most effective for the AI, right? That's a big part of this game. You're just required to follow the rules laid out. And if this drift decided he didn't want to go kill this joust for whatever reason, maybe he's a pacifist, he's a lover, not a fighter, it is what it is, he gets to go over there. The burnout, however, is going to move 2 and go 1, 2 and kind of block this joust from getting by, but that's fine. All I really want to do with this joust now is knock off that fortification chip, because if I can really take that thing out with Keem, that would be a good day. So we go to the heirs this turn. The heirs are going to move 1. The joust can't move any further, and the joust could quick strike the burnout. No, we want to get rid of this monolith. This is in a bad spot. Hopefully Keem can take it out before the end of the round. So quick strike from the joust. We remove the fortification chip to the monolith. The monolith just has a range and a recorded fortification chip, but now the monolith attacks the joust. It's probably the end of the road. Oh yeah, 2 damage. Joust only had 1 health left. Joust is out of the round. So I'm glad I had the joust and not the harrier, because the joust was able to do that 2 damage and take off that fortification chip. And I should have moved with Keem too. I had no reason not to. Keem would have gone 1, 2, 3. Remember, he's flying. The burnout can't attack him, but the monolith. Oh, even better. This is even better, because when the joust was here, let me go back to this. The spire would have chosen whether to attack Keem, because the spire does have air defense, and it has connected, but connected is not really relevant for the AI. It's really more relevant when a human's controlling it. The monolith would have chosen to attack the hero, which it normally prefers, or the joust. But since it realistically could have killed the joust, assuming it rolled any damage, and it could not have defeated Keem, it would have chosen the joust over Keem by priority, so it would have attacked the joust and defeated the joust. And Keem is now going to be able to take out that dude's attack and pretty much defeat this monolith before the end of the round, and that's a good development for us. All right, we now go to the Naroran's third. Oh, and Keem also could attack. Right, so the joust went quick striked. And Keem could also quick strike and defeat the burnout. Even better. I'm like all sorts of messing things up, guys. Oh, do we want to defeat that? Yes, I will defeat the burnout. We'll get 3 more source. I'm not going to promote. Promoting is always optional. I want to keep my quick strike ability, and you'll see why next turn. Because if I promote, I lose quick strike and I gain rally. That's not good. I want to keep quick strike, so I just defeated the burnout, and we get 3 source, so I'm up to 6 source. 3 because I defeated this landmark chip, the bounty hunter. 3 because I defeated our friend the burnout. So that was a really good turn for us. Again, Joust went, knocked out the fortification, got defeated by the monolith. Keem went over here, and the monolith attacked the Joust, and Keem went and killed the burnout. All right. I digress. So let's go to the burnout. So again, keeping things like kind of orderly is like super important in getting all the rules right in this game. And sometimes I get ahead of myself. I'm so excited. All right, the burnout's going to go. Burnout's moving 1, 2. The drift is moving 3. 1, 2, 3. Spires attack. I have no spires. They don't get it. They're not attacked. And now it's going to go back to the heirs' turn. Keem is going to move again. He's a hero. He doesn't have to move all of his movement. He can move 1, 2, or 3, or 0. Keem's going to go 1, 2, and Keem is now going to quick strike against the monolith. These guys are going to do some damage to my fortress gate. I don't care. So much more important for me to get this monolith out of the way, because that will make life a lot easier in future rounds. And I might be able to use Lost Caverns to my advantage here. That's an interesting chip. I'm kind of thinking through this chip now. That chip might be better than I realized, because I can do some crazy movement with Keem now. All right, so Keem is going to quick strike and knock the attack upgrade off of the monolith. Spire's attack, again, quick strike just kind of messes up the order of things. You can strike before Spire's fire. Now the spires go to fire, but this spire has range to me, but it has no more attack chips, so it actually can't attack me. And this one only has one range chip, so it can only get to there. This one only has 1 range chip, so it can only get to there. This one has 2 range chips, so it can only get to there. So Keem is totally safe. He hasn't defeated anything else though, so he's going to stay on his non-promoted side. The Narorans are going to go. The burnout's going to move 1, 2. The drift is going to go. He's going to try to use all 3 of his movement. So the only way he can really do that while making progress is going here. 1, 2, 3. We go to the Heirs' turn. Keem is going to stay where he is. He's going to quick strike. He defeats the monolith. And now he's going to upgrade. He loses whatever upgrade chips he has. He gets to his promoted side. So again, he gains a rally, which means if I kill a chip, all Heirs minions within range 2 will get an upgrade. And additionally, since his upgraded side has 5 health and his regular side only had 4, we're going to add another chip to him. So now he has 4 health. And he took the 1 damage early on from the bounty hunter. We're also getting 4 source, so we go from 6 all the way up to 10, which is awesome. And we're good. And now his attack is upgraded from a 1 to a 2. The Narorans are going to go. The burnout's going to go 1. The drift cannot use all of its movement while making progress. If it moved 2 even, it wouldn't be making progress. So it's only going to move 1 and stop right there. The burnout is going to attack our gate. Gets 1 damage on the gate. It retaliates for 1. The burnout's down to 1 health. Burnout, entropy triggers. Burnout just absolutely goes away. If that minion had been revealed by the joust, it would have done 2 damage to the source peddler. But again, I didn't want to keep the source peddler revealed because I didn't know if I was going to have something I could attack here, and I wanted to make sure the joust didn't get retaliated on by 2. So that's why I did not reveal that sucker. Now, our gate gave 1 damage to the burnout, but the burnout, make no mistake, defeated itself. So I do not get that 3 source reward for this burnout. It just goes out of the game. Trying to think if I want to be the one to attack the drift. I don't think so. Keem's going to go. Keem's going to go 1. Do I want to start using Lost Caverns now? These are the questions I ask myself. Let me look up that rule again. So Secret Passage. Secret Passage says when the ship is revealed, place 1 health. Once the health is removed, heroes may move on to this landmark as if it were a Path X, and the hero's owner selects an unrevealed landmark on an adjacent isle. This is an isle. Swap the ship and the hero with the unrevealed landmark. When a hero moves off this landmark, place 1 health under it. Heroes owner, swap this chip. I mean, that's also like to Rocket's point. The ability to use that does make the fact that nothing was revealed to start this a lot better too. I'm wondering if I secret Lost Cavern secret patches there this turn. Heroes may move onto this landmark, then. So I may move on to it. If I move on to it, Secret Passage will trigger right away. I don't have Quick Strike, but I'm wondering if I start trying to eat into this monolith while I have 4 health. Knock out a ranged chip. The drift is only going to do 3 damage to my gate. So that's not awful. And then I can get an Elfinkazi out to do some saving stuff. I think that's going to make the most sense. Of course, if I start rolling bad, I'm going to have to abort mission on this real quick. So Keem's going to go 1, 2, and then this triggers with Secret Passage because there's no health there thanks to the joust attacking it earlier. So that moves there. Now when Keem moves off there, we're going to add a health back. So I'm going to need to attack it before I can start using that ability again. So my movement phase is done. The Naroran spires are going to attack. This monolith only has 1 range. This monolith only has 1 range. This one has 2, and I'm adjacent, so it is going to attack me. It only has 1 attack chip like this one did, so it's rolling 1 attack die, and I rolled a 1, so Keem is down to 3 health. After the spires fire, I can do my attack. Again, I don't have Quick Strike anymore, so that's why I had to get attacked first. I'm going to take off this fortification chip. We now go to the Naroran's turn. The drift is going to move. It's attacking for 1. My gate's going to retaliate. We go to the Heirs' turn. Keem is going to move 1 here when he moves off the Secret Passage. That gets a health chip under it. This monolith's going to attack Keem again. It does 1 damage. Keem's going to attack. It does 2 damage, takes away the fortification chip. And then I think to be safe, he's going to have to move away, and we'll take care of the rest of this sucker next turn. The drift is going to attack. It does 1 damage. Oh, that's not revealed. Yeah, it does 1 damage. The gate retaliates. And now Keem, I could risk it. Again, 5 out of 6 times I would not be defeated by the monolith, but that's a silly risk to take. Keem's just going to move 1, 2. Remember, I took off one of the range chips, so that monolith's range ends there now. So he's going to move there and chill. The Narorans are going to go, and again, I can't get to the drift to kill him to get like a level up, because that'd be good, but I'm just going to chill there. The drift's going to go attack this, and the gate retaliates and wipes out the drift. That's only 2 source, so we got 12 source combined. Checking the chat. So it's priority for a tower to attack something you could possibly kill then? Yes. Good scenario. I had to try 3 times because of the different setup mistakes. Also, hey all, what's up, Gnome? How are you, sir? Jester says hi, Gnome, and Rocket says key roll. Yeah, if I had rolled a 2, that whole plan would have been silly, but at least I would have got a well, yeah, I would have had a runaway, but at least I was able to get 2 of its things knocked out. Because I had 4, I went. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it attacked me twice and just took off 2 of my health, so that's fine. So all minions are gone. As soon as the last minion is defeated, round ends. So it is what it is. We don't have to worry about campfire mode. That never triggered. We just end the round. So now we go to wave 2. Wave 2, first thing we're going to do is roll the event die. I rolled a 6. What happens on a 6? Well, we add fortification chips to the bottom of all existing Naroran spires. On a 1 through a 3, we would have had to add Angemin to the mix. That's the word I'm looking for. But we're good. I now have 12 source left to spend. Ooh, super intrigued. No, yeah, I have 12. So then let me do all the Naroran stuff first. I'm kind of getting ahead of myself. So income phase, 0 income. Market phase is normal. These all go away. We get 3 new market chips. We've fallen taproot, a scar bond, and makeshift wings, and then the new earthscape is that one. We're now going to do a build phase for the Narorans. Nothing in the build phase, but they are going to get the Arcbright. The Arcbright has 3 health. It has air defense with range 3, so we can definitely start messing up Keem, and that range 3 is pretty significant. We're going to get a medium. The medium has 4 health with possess. Possess is pretty nasty, and then we have a drift. The drift is one of the ones we just saw, which again has the incorporeal and the camouflage. That is their deployment stack. On our side of the ledger, I'm going to do my build phase and my prep phase now. I'm going to spend 3 of my 12 source on Sanctuary 1, which is going to give me this die, which will allow me to add some CP. And then do I just beef out the jousts? I kind of like that. I'm going to spend the rest of the source. So normally I would consider getting the Academy Peak, but since I have 12 source here, I like the idea of getting all of my stable stuff worked out, because I really like jousts in this scenario. So that gives me stable 1, stable 2, and stable 3. Stable 1 adds 1 health to my Harrier. Stable 2 reserves once per wave when my last minion is eliminated. I may immediately spend 2 source to put a joust into play. Place a joust on the closest path hex to your mark that is adjacent to an air spire. So I do need to get a spire out as a limited build option. But then joust training, gain the joust die. I roll this during the prep phase each wave, and I can add the corresponding upgrade or health to each of my jousts. Rockets is going to have to shoot. Got a pint at the bar waiting for me, apparently. Good luck. Have a good start anyway. Been a good start. Yeah, thank you, sir. I appreciate it. I will catch you later. Alex, more fortifications. I prefer getting Artigen. Antigen. Yeah, I could go either way. Fortifications are going to make that a little bit more complicated. If I didn't have that fortification, I'd be able to kill that monolith real easy. So that now I have a little bit to be worried about. So in my prep phase, I'm going to roll the 2 dice I just gained. One the joust die and one, what do they call it? They call it the command die. Oh my gosh, that's amazing. I rolled blank. And you have to roll it in the prep phase. So you can't roll it in the build phase and see what you get, but I just literally rolled 2 blanks, which is super awful. So 1 out of 36 times, super awful things happen. And for me, it feels like 1 out of 9 times. Oh, that's so frustrating. So what am I going to do now? I have a total of 5 CP to spend. I'm going to get a Humminger with an Elfinkazi, and we're going to get a Harrier. I cannot communicate how bad that was right now. So I'm going to get the Elfinkazi on the Humminger. I'm going to put it on the save side. And I have the Harrier here. The Harrier is going to have 3 health instead of 3 health instead of 2. Yeah, I think I know how I want to work this. Gnome gives me the shock phase. Yeah, if you watch me play enough, man, no one's shocked anymore. So Arcbright's going to move to 1, 2. The medium's going to move 2, and the drift's going to move 2. Remember, they only all have path allotment, and we're going to attack. Well, again, they have nothing around to attack, and Arcbright range 3 isn't even close to killing anything. We're going to go with our deployment stack. Remember, you can move heroes before or after, and the Elfinkazi move like a hero. And that's in all facets, regardless what the FAQ on Chip Theory's website says. So, at least as far as the Discord server, which may or may not be accurate, but one day they're going to provide clarity. And that day will be a glorious day for all Cloudspire players. So, the Elfinkazi is just hitching a ride on top of the Humminger. So the Humminger is going to move 1, 2. Because that's its only move allotment. The Harrier can move 4, but it's stuck behind the big fat owl in front of it, so it only moves 1. The Elfinkazi is going to do its move now. It is going to move, and it's going to go adjacent to Keem, and at that point it's going to blow up, and we're going to add up to 4 health back to Keem. Again, Keem had 5 health total, so basically it had 2 health left, so it gets its 3 health, gets it back to its full health stat, and we'll put the Elfinkazi back over here. Thank you for your sacrifice for the team. We are now going to do the exploration phase, because spires fire. There are no spires available to fire, so we're going to explore and going to reveal this. We know it is the Source Peddler. So that comes in with 5 health. And now we're going to do attacks. The Harrier is going to attack the Source Peddler for 1. The Source Peddler is going to retaliate for 2. The Harrier has 1 health left because, again, the stables, he started with 3 health and not 2. The Humminger is going to attack for 2. Now, the Humminger's attack does not get retaliated upon because the Source Peddler already retaliated, and you only retaliate once. And now Keem is going to attack. It's attacking for 2, and we defeated the Source Peddler. Rally triggers both the Humminger and the Harrier are going to upgrade. The Humminger's upgrading is significant because now it gains flying and it gains all-terrain allotment. The Harrier's upgrade is not as important. I did not reveal this chip because if it was foreboding and engage, I wanted to make sure I killed that sucker just the way I did. And since Keem defeated someone, it can get an upgrade. It's going to take a fortification upgrade, which for the heroes will function just like an additional health. Now again, fortification upgrades for spires, you need to damage it. You need to do at least 2 damage to remove. On a hero is just like an additional health. So the Source Peddler is out of the game, so that's our second chip that we've defeated, and we get a full-blown 6 source, which is pretty nice. I'm going to take a Brian Skolick with the dice and the devil sign. Jester says you need to play more games that don't require rolling dice. I've seen your lack of ability too many times. It's amazing, right? You were cursed for sure. I'm thinking more deck builder games and less minions. Yeah, but I like these games better. It's funny. All right. I mean, at least I have like the witnesses, and honestly, live streaming it makes it so much more enjoyable. So So if you roll terribly, start a YouTube channel and just have other people watch so they can join in your misery, because shared misery is way more fun. So, but that was cool. Like, it could have been worse. If I'm going to roll bad, hopefully it's just this round and not future rounds. Because, you know, it is what it is. This worked out pretty well, and knowing what that was, because I explored but decided not to reveal before, really, really helped. All right, so Keem's set up. He's got an extra health. He should be able to take out this monolith, and that will really help him take advantage and have kind of free reign back in this area. Remember, both of these monoliths only have one range each, so we're in a pretty decent spot. Obviously, it's going to be hard to knock these monoliths on the side because now they have an extra fortification before their ranged ship. But again, I'm not too worried about them. We go to the heirs, the Naroran second turn. Leading minions, the Arcbright moves 2. I can choose a drift or the medium. They both have 3 movement. I'm going to allow the drift to move forward 1, 2, 3, and then the medium is going to move 1, 2, 3 and make as much progress as possible. We now go to the heirs' turn. Keem's going to move 1, 2 and go right next to that monolith. The Humminger's going to move 1, 2, and the Harrier's got 4 movement. It's going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. Spires are going to fire. This spire does not have range to anyone. This spire has range to Keem, rolling 1 die. It's a blank. Woo! That's what I'm talking about. Now we attack. Keem's going to take off that fortification ship, and in 2 turns, that monolith is going to be a thing of the past. Except Arcbright's going to start, you know, getting some digs on me, which is, you know, fine. It's what Arcbright does. We now go to the Naroran's turn. Arcbright moves 1, 2. The drift is going to move 2. This is going to be max progress. So the drift's going to go 1, 2, 3. And it's going to kill the Harrier, unfortunately. And the medium's going to move, well, 3 movement can get it here or here. They're both equal distant. I'm going to move the medium over here. So 1, 2, and 3. Oh, wait, I could choose the order they fire. Again, same analysis. They're going to prioritize a minion they can defeat over a hero they can wound. So this Arcbright is going to attack the minion. This is working out very well for me. It's going to kill the Harrier and not attack Keem, because Keem's going to, the more I can just keep him safe, the better for sure. So that's it. Now the drift is like, yo, what's up, Arcbright? You took away the minion I was about to defeat. Why do you like do that to me? And Arcbright's like, I don't know, dude, get over it. You know, that's the conversations they have with themselves, and that's fine. So we are, again, good. So again, when you're controlling the AI faction, you do not, if you try to do the things that are most like the best case scenario for the AI, you're going to have a really hard time in these scenarios. This is not how this game is built for sure. It's like when you move monsters in Arkham. You move the monsters in a way that's best advantageous to you within the rules of the game, right? And that's just part of the strategy of the game, a part of the puzzleness, the puzzliness, the chessiness of what you need to do. The heirs are going to go. The Hummer is going to move 1, 2. I don't like this medium, but again, the Humminger should block them up for a little bit. The Humminger is going to, and Keem's going to stay there. Spires are going to, oh, yeesh, Humminger is about to get punished. It is what it is. Yeah, the Spires are going to fire. This Spire has range to the Humminger, so it's rolling 2 dice, and we did 2 damage. And this spire is going to fire against Keem. 1 die, it does 1 damage. So we just lose our fortification upgrade. Keem is going to attack. It's going to get rid of the attack upgrade. So this monolith now has no ability to attack. And the Humminger is going to attack someone and is going to be defeated, which probably isn't that bad because this medium thing could get really hairy otherwise. So the Humminger is going to go ahead and just do 2 damage to the Arcbright. And the Arcbright's going to retaliate and defeat the Humminger. Get retaliation, air defense, no air defense, it doesn't matter. Retaliation will always work even if a unit has flying. So, not bad. The Narorans are going to go. Arbright moves 1, 2. The drift's going to go 1, 2, 3, and the medium goes 1, 2, 3. So we're not going to see the possessability. Let me kind of explain that. Possessability. If the Hummingbird is still on the board, medium would basically possess it and actually would go underneath. And then as long as the medium is underneath a unit, now this Hummingbird is considered, for all purposes, a Naroran faction unit. So it will move, it will attack, it will use all its stats. But whenever this unit takes damage, you're actually killing this unit underneath, right? So remember, the other Naroran units would not attack this Hummingbird because it's possessed. They would attack other Heirs units. But then as soon as the one underneath is defeated, then this sucker comes back to life. Ooh. One thing, so that's where he ended, I'm pretty sure. One thing I did want to do is after the Hummingbird was defeated, I don't have an Heir Spire on the board, so shoot, I didn't get a Spire out, so I could not use reserves, so that's my fault. I should have done a limited build option and gotten a Spire out, but I'm still pretty set up. Still 6 health on the gate, so I can make this work. All these dudes only attack with 1 each. Again, the Arcbright already attacked that, so we've gotten that squared away. We are now going to go to the Heirs' turn. Keem is going to stay there. Spires are going to fire. No Spire can reach Keem that has an attack chip. Keem's going to defeat the Monolith. He's going to get an upgrade chip. I'm going to give him an attack upgrade. And remember, also possess only works on minions. It does not work on heroes, so that's going to be helpful to remember. I'll take the 4 source. That gets me up to 10. And that's fine. I probably, knowing I was going to do that, I probably should do, let me do a limited build option. Again, 2 of these are the game before you do the rest of your turn. So I'm going to spend 3 source, and I'm going to get myself not a high rise, I want to get a refuge. And the reason why I get a refuge, the refuge has a fortification chip underneath it, and none of these dudes are attacking more than 1. So this refuge will not be defeated no matter what. All right, we now go to the Naroran turn. And remember, and notice with Keem, so he lost the fortification upgrade, so when he got attacked, and I took an attack chip. I find having Keem have 3 attack is much better for this scenario, so I like that a lot more. So the Naroran's turn. The Drift's going to move. It can only move 2 of its 3 movement. The Arcbright goes here, and now the Medium's going to go, 1, 2, 3. I'm going to have the Refuge attack the Medium. Right. Oh, no, he's got range. Yeah, the Arcbright has 3 range to our Fortress Gate, so I'll have the Refuge attack the Arcbright. 2 damage. The Arcbright is defeated. Since it was defeated by my Spire, that's 2 source. We're up to 9. We have the Drift is going to do 1 damage to the gate and take 1 damage in retaliation. Trying to think. I still need to get rid of this chip, and this chip. I'm trying to think if I need to bother getting Keem back over here. I probably do. I have 5 health left. It won't be hard to get him back over. We still got 2 waves after this, so things are kind of in a decent spot. So, but I don't want him to get retaliated on because that's just not worth it. So I will. This guy's going to be here. So yeah, I'm going to have Keem stay there, and Keem is just going to do the 1 damage here. So that's set up for him to do the secret passage stuff. We now go back to the Naroran's turn. The Medium moves. The Drift can't move anymore. Possess doesn't trigger. There are no Heirs units. The Refuge is going to attack the Medium. We do 2 damage. The Drift attacks our gate down to 4 health. The gate retaliates. Heirs' turn. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3. There are no Spires that are firing at him. He's going to defeat the Medium. Again, he's maxed out of his upgrades, so we can't take any more upgrades, but we get 2 source. We're up to 11. The Naroran's turn. The Narorans again are at the gate. The Refuge is going to attack him. 2 damage. The Drift is out. So that gets us 2 more source. That gets us 13. Now remember, camouflage, this Refuge is adjacent to the drift, so it was able to attack it. And now we have 13 source going into the next wave, which is super, 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 super good. What's up next? Hey, Kabuki Kid, what's up? Says Jester. Hey, Jester, I'm well, thanks. How are you faring? Just fine so far. They haven't killed me off yet. That's good news. Caleb Hobson, have you played Zaya? I have, Caleb. It's a little bit too open worldy for me. I didn't really love it. I did put one video on the channel. I borrowed my friend's copy, and I was actually, thanks a lot, dude. Far Off Games. I cannot say enough good things about them. They sent me some review copies of all the stuff that could really help like round out my friend's game. He didn't have like a couple of the smaller expansions, and I get why people really love it. I'm not a big sandboxy guy. Like I hated Western Legends. That was not my. Hate's a strong word. I just really didn't like that game. I like Zaya more. I just still found it a little bit too wacky for me, and like I was like, I would play it with friends in the right circumstances, but it's not a game I enjoyed solo very much. But I'd recommend it for anyone that's kind of really likes the space theme and really wants an open world game. Cloudspire always interested me, but I've got to try it out. I'm a Zaya fan, love that game. Noam says you're fine, so are your rolls now. Yeah, rolling twos like crazy. And Caleb says, oh, let me find that video. I like your perspectives. Awesome. Yeah, it's only one. If you go on my playlist, that's the easiest place to find videos. I don't know why they don't organize that stuff alphabetically. I think it'd be better. It might be a setting I can tweak that so people can find the games they're looking for a little bit easier. Zaya gave me vibes of the old PC game Elite. Yeah, I haven't played it, but I could see people that get lost in those open worldy games like really liking Zaya a lot. I just found the solo mode was well done for what it was. It just wasn't what I'm looking for in my personal games. Oh, and it was hard though. It took me a long time to learn how to win that game, by the way. And there's also like a solo campaign, which really forces you to like dive deep into like one or two facets of the game every time you play it, because there's basically different goals and you pick a goal. So I think I could see that being really cool. Like I decided not to do the campaign. I just wanted to spend my time with other things. But there's a lot to like there if that's your thing, for sure. I mostly watch your Spirit Island stuff and Gaia Project stuff. Two games I really enjoy. I love seeing your approach to it. Yeah, awesome. Yeah, those are compared to Zaya, which isn't in my top 20, not my top 30 probably. Spirit Island and Gaia, I mean, obviously they're both top 5 games for me, so absolutely love those games. All right, what's going on? That's the end of the round. Everyone's dead. I have full health and I'm fully upgraded. We need to get rid of this chip, and this chip. We have 2 monoliths that are still threatening, gonna make this chip especially hard. I have 1 spire on the board. I'll probably add another one there with my 13 source. So let's go to wave 3. We're going to roll the event die. I rolled a 4. Blech. More fortification chips. We are not seeing Anjabin, which does 2 things. Makes it harder to mess with these monoliths. I don't find Anjabin that tough, and it's also giving us less opportunity to get source, because Anjabin gives us an opportunity once we kill him, again, we get some extra source. I'm going to do the market phase. We're going to replace these chips. I'm probably not upgrading with anything. Yeah, we're good. What the heck? Weak point? What is weak point? Weak point. Instead of attacking this unit, you remove the top 2 upgrades from an adjacent opposing spire. Oof. But again, these upgrades are tough because they can only go on heroes, and they can only go on heroes that are in the fortress gate. So I'd have to like put Keem back and then give this to him and then have him come back out the next wave, and that's just not going to work. But that's a cool little chip for sure for the future. And now I'm going to do the rest of the Naroran stuff. They're going to build a Zor Temple 1, which means that if I attack them once a wave, they're going to reduce that damage, as I talked about in the AI rules during the setup of this. And then they're going to get a conduit, which is on the other side of the medium. Now, the conduit is just stasis. One of the rules I don't know with stasis is I assume that once stasis triggers, that the unit that conduit is on top of cannot be attacked by other Naroran units, because like stasis would mean like there's no change. So I'm assuming that's the case. That could be wrong. Someone can tell me in the comments if they have an answer to that. We have Arclight, which has 2 health. It has the keyword source field, which does not apply in a solo game. And then we have 2 drifts, who you've seen. Again, they have camouflage and they have incorporeal, and they both have 3 health. The only one of these that is, well, I guess Arclight and Conduit are both attacking with 2 each, so we are going to be a little bit concerned about that, and that is going to be the deployment stack for the Narorans. We go to the Heirs. I'm going to spend 4 to get an upgrade over here. I'm going to get the Academy Peak 1. Wow, that model went. This is going to be the toughest one, because this model is no good. But again, that's where the Lost Caverns is really going to come into play, because I get to switch those suckers. That's crazy. Yeah, Lost Caverns is a really nice chip for this specific scenario. I'm going to spend another 4 to get Academy Peak 2, and I think I hold on to the rest for, this die should be here. I'm going to hold on to the rest. I'm tempted to put, well, I'll spend 4. And now that I upgraded Academy Peak, that allows me to build high rises, or Regal Lookouts. I'm going to get a Regal Lookout, 1 attack, 1 range, and I'm going to put that there. None of these have range attack, right? Yeah, so that's safe for now. And that's going to get an Elf and Kazi, and I'm going to get an Elf and Kazi that has Glide Bomb, and just put that there. And that will go there during the prep phase. So I spent, I had 13. I spent 4 on this, 4 on this, and 4 to build the Regal Lookout. I have influence over that isle because I have this refuge over here. I have 7 CP. I'm going to roll both the stables die for the joust and the command die. I did not roll blanks. I rolled 1 extra attack and just 1 extra CP, so still not really rolling, still not a good roll with the command die, but my joust will have an extra attack stat for the duration of this wave, which is nice. Let's die, yeah. So that includes the reserves. I can spend the 2 CP, 2 source when my last minion is defeated, and another joust is going to come out, and it's going to be attacking 3, not a 2, which is a pretty significant difference, and really makes, for a minion, it's a really nice weapon to have. So I have 7 CP plus the 1 from the command die, so I have 8 CP. I'm getting a Humminger, a Joust, and a Harrier. Humminger, a Joust, and a Harrier walked into a bar. The Humminger has the Roost, so it's going to get, it has the Elfin 1. I'm going to put a Glide Bomb, Elfin Kazi on top of it. The Joust is going to have 3 health, and then the Harrier has 3 health. Now remember, Heirs minions don't promote like a lot of other factions do normally. However, since Academy Peak, they have Master Training. So Graduation gave me the ability to construct Regal Lookouts and Minaret Spires. Master Training, faction minions may be promoted when they defeat a unit of their spires. So if any of these suckers defeat something, they will automatically now upgrade to their promoted side. For the Harrier, what that does, it gives them an extra attack. For the Joust, what that does, it gives them an extra health, and it triggers Eager and Fury Kick, which is pretty sweet. And for the Humminger, again, it gives them flying and better terrain allotment. The Joust is coming into play with this extra attack upgrade. This Harrier is going to be fairly useless for a while. Except we probably reveal that, maybe try to take care of that early this round. So I'll go Harrier. That's right. I'll put the Joust on the bottom, especially with that extra attack. The Heirs have priority. So again, Keem can move before or after. Same with the Elfin Kazi, and they don't have to move because they're heroes. So they move like a hero. So the Harrier goes 1, 2, 3, 4. The Humminger is going to move give the Elfin Kazi a ride, moving 1, 2, and then the Joust is just moving 1 because it cannot use its full movement. We're going to have Spires fire. No Spires have range to any of the Heirs units. We're going to explore, reveal this, Rift Walk, and Overload. Ooh, I do not have 6 source, so that's going to be something I'm going to have to do the next turn. What is Rift Walk? Or next round, probably. What is Rift Walk? What is Overload? Units may move onto the ship as if it were a path hex. Units that move onto the ship are transported to another ship with Rift Walk if the controlling faction's choice. If the destination ship is currently occupied by another unit or group of units, those units are defeated. Defeating opposing group units this way grants the reward for the unit on the top only. And then there's Overload, is that when you're adjacent, and it's any of my units, it does not only have to be a hero. On your turn, if you have a unit adjacent to this landmark, you may spend 6 source to discard this landmark and gain this reward. The reward we would gain for overloading this is just a relic. A relic we can either keep, more likely we will throw it away, and we'll get 4 source instead. And I'll just leave that revealed, mostly to remind me that it's there. I left Keem there in case we needed his 3 attack. Plus, I was trying to trigger the rally, because again, rally still would have been active, and I could have promoted all of my units, which would have been really, really nice. But unfortunately, that did not work out. So we're going to take a couple of turns to have to get over into that corner, but I think we'll be okay. Conduit's going to move 2. The Arclight's going to move 2. Drift is only going to be able to move 1. We go to the Heirs' second turn. Keem's going to move 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I think it's going to make sense to just move both of these out there, and I'll start hacking them and come back this way. It's going to take a little bit to get set up, but I should be okay, especially with 3 attack, and I still have this Elven-Kazi ready to go. So Keem went. The Harriers are now going. The Harriers are going to go. Harriers going to go. If he was promoted, that'd be so sweet, because we could really start taking the fortification upgrades. So the fact this was not a minion that could attack is a little bit upsetting. Just a little bit, not a lot. So he's going to move 4, and as long as he makes some progress, we're fine. So again, different than the AI. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to go there. The Humminger is going to go 1, 2. The Elfen-Kazi is just going to chill. Again, I could move him after the minions move, and the Joust is going to go 1, 2 with his 3 attack stat. We now go, and this Elfen-Kazi over here is just going to chill as well. We go to the Naroran's second turn. We have the Conduit 1, 2. The Arclight goes 1, 2. The Drift goes 1, 2. Can't use all 3. And this Drift goes 1, 2. Can't use all 3. The Heirs are going to go. Keem's going to go on here. Flip that. So that's 1. So 1, it automatically moves, and then it's going to move 2 and 3. No, it's going to move 2, move off this, and the health chip comes back on. And then Keem is done. His movement's done. The Harrier is going to move 1. Oh, can it move all 4 and make progress? It can. 1, 2, 3, 4. It can go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's probably going to get killed by the many things that I want to kill it. Yeah, it can't just move 3. It has to move all of its movement that it can. So its options are pretty limited. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just end up there. How am I going to work this? Yeah, I think this will make some sense. The Humminger is going to move 1, 2. Remember, Elfen-Kazi have all terrain alignment, and the Jousts are going to go 1, 2. Both my Elfen-Kazis have the choice to move now. Can heroes move before or after your minions? The Elfen-Kazi is going to move, is going to go in here. It moves 2 because of Roost 2 on the Humminger, and it's going to do 2 damage to everything adjacent to it, including the Harrier. So that, 2 damage here, 2 damage to that, just knocks off the fortification chip. The Elfen-Kazi is out of the game now. The Harrier has Quick Strike. The Harrier is going to use this Quick Strike to kill the Conduit, so we don't have to worry about the stasis crap. And we're getting 3 source, so we're up to 4 total. We had a remainder of 1, and Conduit is out. Conduit, since it died, does not get a chance to retaliate, but now with Spires fire. Again, that went first because of Quick Strike. The Spires are all going to fire on the Harrier. Oh, wait. This Elfen-Kazi would have gotten killed by that monolith early on. because that has air defense, so it would have attacked that early. So this Alpenkazi, again, Heirs had priority. This Alpenkazi would have gone for sure and just killed that. I still like having a Regal Lookout there, but this Alpenkazi would have had to sacrifice itself early to do damage to that. So when I set that up there, I forgot to account for this monolith. Now, if this monolith loses this last range chip, it won't even be able to reach this Regal Lookout, so I'll still have that for the next wave, which could be really helpful. But this wave, since I had priority, on the very first turn I had, the Alpenkazi would have gone and knocked off one of the fortification chips. Remember that air defense would have allowed it to kill that Alpenkazi, and absolutely would have attacked it, because that was a Heirs unit it could have killed. All right, now that we got that out of the way, they're going to basically roll 2 dice each, so 4 dice against the Harrier. Yeah, no surprise, Harrier's out. And then when the Harrier did the quick strike, to be super clear though, it would have promoted. It still would have died. But its quick strike, it did defeat a minion, and because we have Academy Peaks 2, it would have promoted, but still was not going to be able to survive that onslaught from the 2 monoliths that still have 2 attack tips each. But we do have this monolith a little bit more manageable, which will make future turns a lot easier. So the spires fire. Now the rest of the Heirs units are going to be able to attack. Keem is obviously just going to attack this Lost Caverns and get that health chip out of there, because it's going to go here next turn, not surprisingly. And then we'll have both of those landmark chips where we need them to wipe them out, so we can get our 3 renown this game. Arclight's moving 2, 1, 2. The drift's going to move 1, 2, 3, and this drift's going to move 1, 2, 3. Again, all making maximum progress. Trying to think who I want to get in there. That 3 attack from the Joust is pretty strong. So we're going to the Heirs this turn. Keem's going to go here, flip those 2 chips. That's his first move. Again, that's automatic. That flip doesn't count as a second move. And then he's going to move back 1, 2. And we're going to put a health chip underneath the Lost Caverns when Keem moves off. Rest of the movement for the Heirs units, I'm going to have the Humminger move 1, 2. That is progress, I think. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 6, 7. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So yeah, so if I go there, I use all my stat and I make progress by getting closer to my mark. That's all I need to do. So 1, 2. The Joust is going to move 1, 2. And now we have the spires are going to attack. The only one that has range to the Humminger is this spire, and this would be very, very sad if he kills me. Don't kill me, spire. So the monolith's rolling 2 dice. I roll 3. Of course, the Humminger is out. Let the sadness commence. Oh, that was super bad. So the Humminger did not survive that. Before the spires fired, though, remember the Joust had a quick strike, which is why I was tempted to have him go up there. But with that 3rd attack stat, I thought this would be better, because now I know I can kill this dude. So again, he has attack of 2. He has an extra attack stat because of the stables die. So he absolutely kills the drift. That gives me 2 source, gets me up to 6. So this, again, this is a quick strike. And then he's going to upgrade because Academy Peaks 2. And when he upgrades, he gets another health. So drift is out. So again, order of operations, Joust went here, quick struck, monolith attacked the Humminger and killed it because I rolled a 1 and a 2, and now we go to exploration. Keem is going to explore this. It is a fountain. Well, that's super interesting. The fountain comes into play. What is that? The fountain, at the start of each round, all faction units adjacent to this landmark recover 2 health. Discard this chip at the end of the wave. So it's going to discard itself, and we don't need to recover 2 health. So we're just going to sit there, and that will be the 3rd chip discarded. That's going to be the 4th, so hopefully we just can kill that, and we'll be good to go. So that explore happened. Everyone attacks. Everyone that could attack this turn already did. Again, the Joust attacked before the spires fired with quick strike, and now we go to the Naroran's turn. The Arclight moves 1, 2. The Drift, again, camouflage and incorporeal, is going to go 1, move through the Joust because it's incorporeal. 3, I lose a source because, again, the Drift went through me. The Drift is now going to attack against Spires Fire. None of these suckers are in range of what I'm doing. Another range of my spires is what I should say. The Drift is going to do 1 damage to the Joust. The Joust retaliates and wipes out the Drift. because again, it's doing 2 attack plus its attack stat of 3, and that's 2 more source, gets me up to 7. And done. I guess, yeah, I probably just want to get rid of that range chip. I'm really not trying to defeat their fortress gate, so it is what it is. The heirs' turn. The Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3. Oh, I'm in range of that spire. I don't like that. No, I'll be fine. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3. The Joust is going to, the Joust has 3 movement. 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3. I used all my movement and made some progress, going a quick strike, knocking off that range. Now the spires fire. Neither spire has range to Keem, so he's totally chill over there. Again, I took off the last range chip there. They're going to do 4 attack on the Joust. That's 4 damage, and that kills the Joust. It doesn't end the round. Oh, wait. Do I want to do that? I can spend 2 swords to have another Joust come out. How's my gate looking? 4 health. Yes, I will spend 2 source closest to my mark. Ooh, I'd have to put it there. There's no point in having another Joust come out. So hopefully this refuge gets at least 1 damage on this sucker. Otherwise, we could be in trouble. So the spire's fired. Now we do exploration. It is the Traxxer Loner, 4 health, engage, and foreboding. So it has to flip over. That's the foreboding, and I have to attack it if I can. Keem's going to attack it for 3 damage. It retaliates for 1 damage back. Arclight's going to go 1, 2. The refuge is going to attack it with 1 die, 1 damage. Beautiful. And now the Arclight attacks. Since it can attack with 2, it takes off the fortification chip of the refuge. Keem's going to go. Keem's going to stay where he is. Let's get rid of that Traxxer Loner, and that will open up my path to quickly get back to my fortress. So Keem's going to chill. It's going to attack. We defeat the Traxxer Loner. That's 11 source. Traxxer Loner's out. That's our 3rd chip that we've discarded. And again, we don't have any more upgrade capacity, so it doesn't matter that we defeated something. The Arclight's going to go 1, 2. The refuge is going to attack it. It misses. And now the Arclight is either going to prioritize, normally it would prioritize a spire it could defeat, but in this special case, it is going to prioritize doing damage to our gate. So our gate is down to 2 health. The gate retaliates, wipes out the Arclight. We get 3 source from that, so we're up to 14 source. And that will go there. Woo! All right. Never tried Xayah solo, but it's one of my favorites multiplayer. Xayah costs like $350 for the base game, and like an expansion. For that price, I could get like 5 games. I would like a lot more. Yeah, I'm with that. No, weak point is a killer. Eric Crispin, where does Cloudspire rank for you solo? I like Cloudspire more than Too Many Bones, which is saying a lot. I mean, it's definitely. I think it was 6. It might have been 5. I might have had a Gaia, and I might be rethinking that. I mean, it's definitely up there, like middle of the top 10 for sure. I think it's going to live there for a long time. Got it at my first wave of the next scenario. Whoa, I made it to Live Cloudspire. What's up, Steven? How are you? Hello. Sorry I'm late. Work issues. You never have to apologize to me for being late, man. Jen says, oh, everybody. Hello, Jen. Thank you. Glad you could make it. Glad I got Xayah back in the day from Kickstarter when it was like 100. Oh, yeah. Hey there, Jen, Silverfear, Steven. What's up, Silverfear? With the Homer Simpson hand. I make fun of my wife for having the yellow emojis, man. So, like, but it's cool, man. Bring it. Represent. Stay firm. All right. So that dude's dead. My gate has 2 health, which is super interesting. We have discarded 3 of these chips, and now let's go to Fountain. At the start of each round, discard the chip at the end of the wave. This chip gets discarded as well, so we've discarded 4 chips. So we're going to go to wave 4. I'm rolling the event die, so I have to be a little bit concerned about the fact that my gate only has 4 health here. This elfin, oh great, this monolith has no more range to that, so I can put an elf in there, which is good. I rolled the event die, I rolled a 4, and we're just adding fortification chips. So we do not see Angie Ben at all because I rolled high 3 times in a row. I will never do that in other games, but I will do this today. And we're going to add some, we'll do the whole thing, we'll do the market phase first, and then we'll do the entirety of the Naroran stuff. And I did forget to ditch a landscape for wave 2. This is the wave 3. Ditch that one. We get another one. I said landscape, earthscape. And now we're going to do the deployment stack for the Narorans. We're going to get 2 burnouts. They are grouped, so we have our first grouping here. We're going to get a nitrous. The nitrous is basically just a worse version of the drift. And we're going to get a bishop, and the bishop is basically a worse version of the arc bright, one of those two. So they're going to go there. So the bishop has 4 health. It does air defense, range 3, 2 damage. The nitrous does 3 damage with camouflage and incorporeal. So pretty nasty. We are going to do the build phase for me. I'm wondering if I put a Regal Lookout there. I don't think it makes too much sense. A little worried about my gate. I do want 6 source, so I can do that pretty quick, but I have 14 source. I'm going to spend 3 source to get the gate repair, so I'm down to 11. So this was a limited build option from before, so I can take this off. So that means I can spend 2 source once we're wave to get a health back. Having 1 health back can be good, just in case, because again, that's how I lose. We're going to have... I don't know if it makes sense. I could just put a refuge there. I could also add some upgrades to this stuff. But with that area defense 3, it's not going to matter too much. It's the one argument to put, if I put a Regal Lookout there, I can add some range and maybe some extra attack dice. But I need, again, I remember I need the 6 for over here. So I'm going to be limited to how many upgrades I can really add. I could just add... That could work. But I need 6 source for that. I think I'm going to chill. I'll have the option to do mid-round upgrades. Let me do this. I'm going to spend 2 source to add a range upgrade to the refuge. So this has ability to have it has 2 dots that are going to have 2 different kinds of upgrades on spires, and that's it. So it came in with an attack and a fortification. I lost the fortification, so I just added the range, maybe give a little bit more flexibility to that one. Not too worried about it. It only cost me 2 upgrades for range and attack. It costs you the amount that it would be the number of upgrade chip on it. So if this was a 3rd upgrade on the refuge, which I can't do anyway, but hypothetically, then it would cost me 3. If it was the 4th, it would cost me 4. However, fortification upgrades always cost 2 no matter what. And maybe I'll spend 2. Yeah, I'll spend 3 to get a range upgrade on this sucker. And then another 2 to get a fortification chip. Oh no, I need to keep 6. I'll keep 6. Yeah. Man, I keep reminding myself I need 6. It might be a little bit before I defeat anything. So I'm going to get an Elfin Kazi over here. It's Glide Bomb. I'm going to roll these 2 dice again. We have 9 CP going in. I rolled a 0 on the command die. Wow. +1 on the joust die. That's a 0-0-1 on the command die is 0-1-0 is if I go in order. That's a really bad sequence of rolls. But I have 9 to spend. I'm going to get a Humminger, a Joust, and 2 Harriers. There's an argument for the Royal Talon. Personally, I like a more crowded board. The Royal Talon is really strong, but it costs a lot of CP. Sucker is 5 CP. So I think I would rather this. I would basically be doing a Humminger and a Royal Talon, which isn't what I want to do. So I'm going to put the 1 Harrier, Humminger, Joust, another Harrier. Harriers have 3 health, again because of the stables. 3 health on the Humminger with an Elfinkazi. 3 health on the Joust with an attack die, so it has an attack stat of 3. And then 3 health on a Harrier, again 2 health plus 1 because of the stables. That's my deployment stack. Not ideal, but it will work, I think. So we're going to do the Narorans first. They have priority, so the Narorans are going to go 1-2. Bishop goes 1-2, and Nitrous goes 1. Nothing's in range. Yeah, and the mono, nothing's attacking the Elfinkazi. I'm worried about this Bishop, but that range 3, but we should be good for a little bit here. We're going to go to the Heirs' turn. Keem's going to go 1-2-3. And he's just trying to get back home. You know, he might do an attack or 2, but ultimately we got to make sure he doesn't, you know, again, part of our objectives is he doesn't get defeated by the end of wave 3. The Harrier is going 1-2-3-4. We'll go down. The Humminger is carrying the Elfinkazi. 1-2. The Joust is coming out with this 3 attack, and this Harrier is stuck in the gate. No one's attacking anything. Yeah, this still will not have range. I'm going to have to use the Elfinkazi next turn because it is what it is. Unless it can't even get to the Humminger. Remember, if it has Roost, you can have multiple Elfinkazis on the same thing. But again, just wasn't able to get a 3rd Elfinkazi out, which is a little bit unfortunate. The Burnout's going to move 1-2. Bishop or Nitrous, I can choose. I am going to choose, again, they only have path alignment. If I let Nitrous go first, it's going to get here, so I'm going to actually hold that back. The camouflage on the Corporal is pretty nasty with that 3 attack. Bishop goes there, and now Nitrous can only use 2 of its 3 movement. Nothing's in range to attack. My spires aren't in range. Wait, 1, 2, 3. My spires are not in range to attack them. Oh, and I'm not even, my Elfinkazi is not even in range to attack the Bishop. So that's a little unfortunate. I might leave that Elfinkazi there just to draw some fire from the Bishop. That wouldn't be the worst. Oh, while I was here, my units could have used that as a path. They just never did. You'd have to go back. There's a chance we could just pretend that it was like not revealed. I just didn't reveal it before, because there's a chance they might have they're always supposed to move the most efficiently. They might have used that as part of their movement. So we'll just say I just revealed it last turn, and I would have spent the 6th source to discard it. So that is the 5th discarded chip. We get a relic, and again, so it doesn't have to be a hero that does it. Any of my units, the relic is once per wave during the build phase. You may select the following as a build option. We don't have any more build phases, so I would just discard that, and I would get 4 source back. And now I can use that full 4 source as a limited build option to get something else on the board. Again, limited build options are as many upgrades as you can do to 1 spire or building a brand new spire. So this is my 2nd turn, right? They've had 2 turns. I'm going to spend that 4 now. So I did that last turn, a limited build option now, and we are going to get a Regal Lookout and get another Elfin. Oh, no, Elfin only triggers the beginning of a wave. So that's pointless. That is pointless. So having another Spire in play, probably not. I'll spend the 4 source, and we'll get a high-rise Regal Lookout. I could put an Elfinkazi just on there. Kind of hold it back a little bit. That range 3. Regal Lookout with Roost 3 means I have 3 movement, which is pretty nice. Which is it's a longer roost than the Humminger. I might be able to. Now it's still only roost. No, it's Roost 3 over there too. Interesting. Let me put a Regal Lookout then as my limited build option number 1. And the fact that it's Roost, I kind of like. So, it's my second turn. Heroes can move before or after. I'm going to move this Helfenkazi from the Humminger. Does that make sense? No, I'll leave it on the Humminger. It's going to move 2. No, I'll leave the Helfenkazi on the Humminger. So the heroes could move now. I'm not going to move my heroes until after I move my minions. How about that? Keep it simple. The Harrier is the leading minion for sure. So the Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just basically being a sacrificial Harrier. And is going to chill there. The Hummer is going to move 1, 2. The Joust is now leading minion. Is going to move 1, 2. The Harrier's now leading minion in the Fortress Gate. It's going to move 3. Heroes can move now. Keem's going to move here. This Helfenkazi is Roost 3. It's going to move here, and it's going to join up with its friend on top of the Humminger. We now do, the Harrier is going to have Quick Strike, so it's going to attack. It's going to do 1 damage. This thing retaliates. And the Harrier is probably going to be toast. No, I want it to draw some fire. So it's not going to attack. I'm not going to have it go all 4 that way. It was originally here. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, and just bring it back out of the range of that spire. The Narorans are going to go. Burnout's going to go 1, 2. Bishop's going to go 1, 2. Nitrous is going to go 1, 2. Oh, it's going to get smashed. Ah, it's so bad. Well, let me look at full movement. 3 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 3 over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Great. So he's going to move his full movement, go 1, 2, 3, and not kill the Harrier. This bishop is air defense 3. It's going to prioritize attacking something it can defeat. It's going to defeat one of the 2 Helfenkazis on top of the Humminger. Had I left the Helfenkazi in the Regal Lookout, it wouldn't have mattered. It's still going to defeat one of the Helfenkazis that I had in play. So that was the Bishop's attack with range 3. None of the other Naroran minions are in a place where they can attack. This should work well. Heirs' turn. I'm going to have the minions move first, and then the heroes. Oosh. No. I'm going to have the heroes move. I'm going to have this Helfenkazi move before the heroes. It's going to attack. It's now adjacent to both of those Naroran units. It's going to do 2 damage to each. It also does 2 damage to the Harrier. Harriers are like, dude, why do these stupid hummingbirds keep blowing me up? It's just the life of a Harrier. Now the minions are going to move. The Harrier is going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. It made progress. The Humminger is going to, and entropy triggers. So this dude is just going to leave the battle mat. And because it was grouped, the next burnout comes into play. The Humminger is going to go... Yeah, I don't want the burnout to give me a bunch of damage for no reason. The Humminger is going to go 1, 2. The Joust is going to go... The Joust is going to go 1, 2, and then this Harrier can only move 2 of its 4 movement. Oh, the Regal Lookout. I never attacked. This Spire would have fired on the Burnout before the Humminger blew it up. 1 damage. So what that means is it would have had 3 health down to 2. The Humminger would have blown it up, so the only difference is we would have gotten credit for that kill, so I would have gotten 3 source. Because there was a burnout there, the Regal Lookout did 1 damage to it, and then the Elfinkazi destroyed it. So Entropy didn't trigger, it was actually killed by the Elfinkazi, which makes some sense. The Harrier is going to quick strike. It loses a health in retaliation. Again, this is a new burnout that's in play. And nothing else can. Oh, Keem never moved. Keem's going to go 1, 2, 3 and put itself right by the fortress gate to get the heck out of here. This Harrier, I forgot about him. So he's going to quick strike. We're going to get the Nitrous 1 health down. The Nitrous retaliates and kills the Harrier. So again, this Monolith would never have fired. And that's fine. So sorry I got a little sloppy. I'll try to get more orderly and going through all the steps of every turn. All right. The Narorans are going to go. Burnout cannot make any progress, so it's stuck. Bishop cannot make any progress, so it's going to stay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. From here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I could do an optional lateral move. The Bishop will do an optional lateral move down here. The Nitrous is going to move 1, 2, 3. The Bishop has an air defense. It's doing a 2 attack. It's going to attack something it could defeat. Well, first, we'll do it this way. The burnout, oh, then it's going to be dead. Now we're good this way. The Bishop's going to do attack the Harrier. Harrier is out. Again, the Bishop's attacking with 2. No more Harrier. Well, before we do that, again, I'm not used to having spires in play. That's what's messing me up. The Regal Lookout is going to attack. It's got a range of 3. It can't attack the Nitrous because the Nitrous has camouflage, so it has to attack the burnout. Oh, that's bad. I don't want to attack the burnout. It's fine. Attacking the burnout, that Regal Lookout is. That Regal Lookout doesn't have range. 1 damage to this burnout. The burnout now blows up and it kills the Harrier that way. Booyah. So the Harrier is out because of entropy. We don't get credit for that because the entropy killed the burnout, not us. Now the Bishop is still going to attack. It's going to attack a minion it can defeat. There are no more minions it can defeat, so instead it's going to attack the Humminger. The Humminger is adjacent, so even though it has a range attack, since the Humminger is adjacent, it's going to retaliate. We're going to get 4 source from that, and the Humminger is going to be promoted. So now it has flying and cannot be attacked by anything unless it has air defense. And, well, the Bishop did have air defense, but we don't have to worry about that anymore. So Bishop's out. My turn. I'm spending 2 source to take advantage of my ability to heal my gate, get that back up to 3. It's not going to matter if Nitrous attacks it because Nitrous is doing 3 damage, but it makes me feel a little bit better. My turn. Keem's going to move in, and the Joust is going to go 1, 2. Humminger is going to go 1, 2. The Joust is attacking 3. Remember, Nitrous was down to 3 health instead of 4 because the Humminger over here, did that 1 damage to it. Joust has 3 attack because, again, it's a 2 plus the 1. It's going to upgrade. It gets another health because it defeated something. Again, it attacked before the Spires fire because of that quick strike. This sucker's out. The Spires are going to fire. This Spire can fire on the Humminger, and this Spire can fire on the Monolith. So 2 damage to the Humminger. Humminger is out. And 2 dice against the Joust. Joust takes 1 damage. If Keem was still in play, he'd be in campfire mode, so it was important that we got him in the fortress before anything else happened. We still were going to play out the wave. The Joust is going to go 1, 2, 3. It's going to attack quick strike. It takes off the bottom fortification unit of this monolith. The monolith now attacks. 2 dice, 2 damage. And then the joust is going to go 1, 2, 3. It's doing 3 damage. Remember, the Azor Temple 1 barrier source is going to trigger. It's attacking for 3 because of the attack upgrade. 2 is negated because of Azor Temple source barrier, so just down to 9 health. The Naroran Temple retaliates and kills our friend, the Joust, with the little penguin on top. But that's it. So we go end of wave 4. Keem is returned to the fortress. We have discarded 5 landmarks, and Keem was never defeated. So we got 3 renown. Booyah! We can go to the chapter 4 in the next installment of Cloudspire. And eventually my brain is going to stop melting. It's funny, like when you, like I didn't have spires on the thing all game. So you just get out of that rhythm of like, oh, right, I need to make sure I'm firing, right? But just remembering, hey, spires fire, that's automatic. They have to, right? This is not the kind of game where there's a lot of optional stuff. The only thing that's optional has to do, generally speaking, around the heroes. But if you're not using heroes, if you're talking about your spires, if you're talking about your minions, they have to attack. They will attack. Now you can choose who they attack or what they attack and try to do that in the way that's most advantageous to you. But this was a cool little puzzle. I mean, the Lost Caverns really did open up this scenario. As it played out, though, I mean, the fact that the fountain was here, I mean, I literally could have just revealed it and it would have gone away. But if I stayed there to explore it, that would have meant getting attacked by this monolith, which would have, Keem would have survived it, most likely, unless I rolled 2 to attack. But it was really nice not to worry about that. If I started getting into some health issues with Keem, I would have put an Elfinkazi with save on the Regal Lookout to make sure that, you know, Keem had the health it needed to survive all 4 waves and again get that 3 renown. So yeah, definitely not the most exciting landmark chips, but you know, it definitely scaled a little bit easier, and just knowing how to use the Lost Caverns to your advantage. The fact that as soon as you move on to the Lost Caverns, then you switch, and it doesn't negate any of your movement to do that, makes that super flexible. Where like again, twice I was able to switch, move on, get a health back, you know, make sure I kept damaging it to make it easy to do it the next turn, and just kind of keep that moving. It was pretty cool. So, yeah, sorry for, and just again going back, and you know, I had this conversation. I think it was with Jens, where like I think when I played the Uprising, it was Uprising, where I tried to I went back and like redid things, but that was more like strategy changes. Like when I dig a rules mistake, I am going to be inclined to try to like, all right, this is what should have happened had I played by the right rules, and a lot of it's just the timing. You know, remember it's move, spires, fire, attack. Move, spires, fire, explore, attack. Unless you have quick strike, then it's move, quick strike, spires, fire, explore, attack, right? So, except, you know, obviously the AI doesn't explore, so the rest of it, you know, is mostly for when you're talking about your units. But yeah, it's an interesting scenario. I'm much more interested in scenarios where you are really having to go up against large amounts of the opponent's armies. The armies for the Narorans in this one, they're not nothing, right? Nitrous and Bishop are, you know, can be pretty formidable. As much as I rolled really crappy with the command die, it was always better. Getting the extra attack with the Joust is super, super nice. You know, the other options are 1 health or 2 health. 2 health is also really nice in some ways. Like, you know, it just gives you the ability to do 2 attacks with a Joust in 2 rounds and be guaranteed to survive long enough to kill what you need to kill. Using your Fortress Gate's health as a resource is really important. If you're worried about, like, if you try to prevent all damage to your Fortress Gate in this scenario, you're not going to win. You need Keem out in the world getting things done on other isles. That you cannot have Keem here trying to be gatekeeper to prevent any damage from your fortress. You just have to make sure that, you know, getting a little refuge there early is really, really helpful, because again, in the first few waves, most of the Naroran units will not be able to even do any damage to a refuge. So you just got 1 refuge there, just picking off the Roaring units that get to your Fortress Gate. So that's it. I think it's my first 3 renown game of Cloudspire on the channel live, I think ever, at least in a while. I know I got 2 renown, I think, every other time. So it was it's nice to get a 3 renown victory. The story will continue now that we have dealt with the Naroran and found their technology source and found some of the stuff of their power, we are going to obviously use that to our advantage and go forth and try to take on the Brawnin brutes themselves in the 4th chapter for the heirs. And then we move on, and we're going to have our Naroran chapters, and then we finally round out this book with the Grove Tender chapters. And I'm excited about that. I would find that a little bit interesting the way the book's built is that like, you have the Brawnin going against the Grove Tenders so much, and then you don't really dive into the Grove Tenders again until you get to, gets into like the 13th, 14th, 15th, and 16th scenario in the starting solo book. But I guess that makes sense. You played the heirs just as much. Again, I still find it interesting that the first scenario, you're dealing with Elfenkazi, and it's like probably the hardest thing to really wrap your head around. Again, the lack of clear answers on the Chip Theory website don't make that easy. There is an endless mode too, which I'm not sure what I'm going to do with that. I haven't tried it yet. I might try to get it on the channel at some point, but basically, it's more like the traditional MOBA where you're going to play until you're defeated, and they have like all the rules up to wave 28 and beyond. So that could be pretty nuts. I'm sure there's some fun strategies there. That's probably something I might do once or twice, but I'm much more going to be. I think I'll be more drawn to the tighter scenario kind of things. I mean, the endless mode really is just a version of beat your own score, right? You're trying to last another round higher than you did the previous time, which doesn't appeal to me all that much, or doesn't appeal to me as much, right? I think it's interesting for what it is, but it's not going to be something I'm going to want to do too often just because of the amount of time that would take. But this is a cool book. And again, every faction you buy, you get 4 more scenarios. So there's a lot going on here. A lot of games. I mean, there's 28 scenarios. I'm in scenario 7. So this is it's a good game. Lots of hours of enjoyment and replayability and finding strategies and diving into these factions and finding out what makes them work. The heirs faction, between the Hummingers with their roosts, between the joust die, between the upgrade abilities, they're very, very strong, and there's a lot of kind of moving parts that really come together to make them, I think, a lot more versatile than the Brawnin, which are more like big, I go smash, right? Um, I might like that a little bit better. I don't know what that says about me, but the heirs are very, very cool to mess around with, and the Elfenkazi mechanics are really obviously such a defining part of what they do, that it's cool to see it come to life, especially when you get all the rules down. So that's that. I haven't seen anything in the comments, but I do appreciate all the questions and some of the feedback and especially the conversation early with Jester and Rocket. That was cool. Hope this was helpful. Any rules questions, rules mistakes, please let me know that in the comments. That's how I learn, and I think that's always good for other viewers to stumble on these videos way down the road to kind of see what's going on. If you can learn anything from me, it's again, so much of this game is get the back of the rule book near you, and just as much as you need to, just get that. Once you get to the onslaught phase, just really go through those steps: movement, spires, fire, exploration, attack. I do wish I had like a thing in there in parentheses for quick strike. I think that would have been a lot more helpful. It just kind of messes with your timing, and it just messes with you getting like that pattern down. But having this open in front of you and seeing that wave sequence was a big part, at least for me. It was a big part of helping me get that down, notwithstanding how quick strike keeps messing with that. Kabuki Kid, really nicely produced game. Oh yeah, it's it's nuts, man. It's Chip Theory. I'm super psyched for Hopalmakas, man. That what they did for the upgraded stadium seating. I mean, I can't even. They. It's crazy. It's just crazy how they operate. It's crazy how they think, and it's cool. I mean, it's definitely to the benefit of gamers, and it does make a difference. It makes a difference when you can feel quality in what you're holding from the neoprene mats, from the chips. It just makes a big, big difference. And it enhances playing experience. And I wish it wasn't that way as much as it is for me, but I can't deny it, right? It's something about Uprising, it's something about Chip Theory games and their products that you just feel like a level of like, oh yeah, this is nice. CTG games always look top notch on the table, and YouTube. I'm so excited for Hoplo as well. I hope you get yours soon. Yeah, like I one of these days I'll be a preferred content creator for Chip Theory, but I guess I am not there yet. But they have some great ones, man. So I know Liz Davidson, I think, just put out a playthrough. I'm sure Mark Dainty's gonna have something out soon. One Stop Co-op Shop. I know Rob's Gaming Table did something at Gen Con. I don't know. Rolling Solo maybe. I'm not sure if Adam got a copy of Hopamakas early yet. But yeah, I mean, Chip Theory has been, they've been super great to me. I mean, they got me Spice and Dice. Would love to be a more a more I don't know, something. I like to have my copy of Hoppo early for sure. But I don't. But I mean, I'm like everybody else. I'm like all you guys, right? Like it just, I'm like a kid. I want my toy early, please. Chip Theory games are such nice productions. Yeah, they're really really good, really really good. So and for the most part, I mean, I rag on them for not upgrading their Elfenkazi FAQ, but I mean, for the most part, they're super accessible. I mean, Shannon and Josh and Adam and the other Josh. I mean, if you go on like the Facebook forums, I know they're pretty active on their Discord, but I mean, especially their Facebook stuff. I mean, they're always popping up, making comments in the Too Many Bones Facebook group, in the Cloudspire Facebook group. So One Stop just did one today on Hoplo. Yeah. One Stop. I thought, and then Liz Davidson dropped the video today. It didn't say what it was, and I saw her tweet about it. On her tweet about it, she didn't say what game it was, but I'm guaranteeing it's Hoplo, because One Stop Co-op Shop is theirs. I mean, usually you have like that media blitz all happen at once, for sure. I like nice things too, guys. Yelp. I do, but nice things are expensive, and it does create a weird tension in the industry, right? Where I think some of the best products happen to be also the most overproduced, and like I don't mean overproduced negatively, but this game is overproduced. It doesn't have to be what it is, but it is this, right? It would still be a great game minus the production, right? Like a amazingly produced game doesn't make a great game by itself. I have more than one game that are amazingly produced, but I'm like, this is not a great game. It might be a good game, but it's not a great game. So, it's like if you're really making the industry more and more niche, and there's so many reasons for that, but it's it is a tension where accessibility is a concern, and trying to make games like this more available to more people, but it's just hard. But there are games I'm never gonna own. Like I'm never gonna pay that money for Kingdom Death Monster. I will never own that game, and I'm just gonna have to be fine with that, right? Like it's more money than I'm looking to spend on a whim. It is what it is, but then I had no problem backing Euthia, right? It's like, so we all pick and choose, right? This game I thought was a competitive MOBA style game. Are you doing a campaign? There is a competitive mode. The tutorial in the rulebook is garbage. It really gives a huge advantage to the growth tenders, and it was a very off-putting first taste of this game. So I haven't played it competitively since. The solo book has a series of 16 chapters that does have one continuing story. You can play it straight through, and you basically would play 4 scenarios as all of the factions, and for every faction that you add from expansions, you'll have 4 more scenarios. But again, you can just play them all as one-offs. I will likely do more of the latter. In the campaign mode, based on how many renown you get, it opens up certain abilities. Again, I find them a little cheesy. Not cheesy in that they're not designed right. I just find it, I don't want you to make some of these scenarios easier. I like the challenge of figuring out the puzzle without any outside additional help. So that's just me. But then there's like a scoring thing, like based on how much renown you get over the course of the campaign, and blah 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 blah. I'm going through this so slowly with each scenario that maybe when I'm done, I'll go back and I'll just play through them a lot quicker. and kind of see what happens. But for me, each of these scenarios stands on its own in its own right as something that you can replay. Play it, figure out how to beat it, come back to it 6 months later, try new strategies for sure. Kabuki Kid, yeah, I'd at least need to play Kitty in before buying, but still not going to buy. Jen says Yuthi is an amazing game. I was so looking forward to the campaign so I can get my own copy. All in the first 10 minutes. Yeah. Dude, I did it. I'm sure you were like me. Went all in the first 10 minutes twice. Then and like the cool thing is like Steamforged has been very good to me and really they've sent me 2 games. They're sending me a third. I'm really excited to have that kind of growing relationship with them. And so for me, like that was really it was another factor for me that I was not even a thought. Like I was definitely going to back that game, especially when Steamforged took it over. When I backed it originally, I wasn't going to get like the extra organizational stuff, and then Steamforged kind of changed the pledge level, so I kind of had to. But it's like it is what it is. It's Steamforged, and I'm excited to support them and for them to come in and step up and kind of save that project. I think it was a really cool move on their part. Obviously, they're going to have some financial benefit from it. That Kickstarter did very, very well, but I think all in all, it's just such a cool move and a very good thing for the industry. Then monetary reality hits, and I had to cancel. The FOMO was so real. Oh, I'm sorry, gents. I missed that comment. Yeah, dude. It's expensive. Like that, it kind of goes back to what I was saying, right? It's like, these great games that are coming out that are so the production is so there, and the shipping costs are so for real right now that we're kind of stuck in this world. Caleb, I went and watched like 20 minutes of a Zaya playthrough. It seems very rulesy, lots of small rules to learn and remember to play solo at least. Yeah, for solo, for sure. There's a lot of stuff. It kind of flows. I mean, I say this all the time, and I'll say it again. Like every solo game is like a dance. You just gotta learn the steps, and the dances are meticulous and detail oriented. And that's kind of part of the deal. So, but once you learn the steps, it kind of comes. But then you're like here, like something like throws the steps off, and you're like, you gotta stick with the order. Of each step, make sure you finish it, go to the next. And if you can slow yourself down, I have a harder time doing that when I'm doing a live stream for obvious reasons. I got more things going on, more things to distract me. I'm trying to make sure I have a good performance or production, not just the performance. Like I'm just me just playing a game. Let's be real. But it does kind of distract me, and it's like I almost need to be more careful to slow myself down so I don't end up doing things like I did where I'm like, oh, sorry, I got to backtrack here and make sure I get the rules right. I love the idea of sandbox games though. Feudum was fun when I played it. Never played it. Heard good things. Uthia has a definite amazing. I feel. Yeah, it looks so good, dude. I mean, I'm just super excited about the game, and I wouldn't have wanted Uthia without the new content because it looks like they're really like owning their identity as a solo game with the new content. So that's what makes me really excited. Kabuki Kid, I dig sandboxy games. My problem with them is that I end up having so much fun running around and trying stuff that I forget to win. Yeah, I think my problem is that I care so much about winning, I forget to have fun with the sandboxiness. And it's just a different approach, right? And it's your way's probably more healthy, dude. Caleb, Gaia Project Solo isn't bad at all. That's funny. Now I'd probably learn it easier. When I was learning Gaia, I remember finding it incredibly fiddly and remembering just the little things here and there. But I had like very little context for. I only played Terraforming Mars once. I played Gaia once, and then I was like coming in trying to learn a solo mode. So I was very much like super new to a lot of the mechanics in that game. I played Uthia 5 times, and I love it, but I'll never own it. It hurts, but I won't join my 200 plus collection. Yeah, no doubt. But I guess that's because I learned the syntax of it in order of operations. I wish it was easier to trade sell games. Yeah, I hear that. I'm looking at the Noble Knights. I might just try to send them a list of games. There's stuff I need to get rid of. There's great games I need to get rid of. There's good games I need to get rid of. I just don't have space for them right now. Like I try to keep my collection below 100, like not counting expansions. Yeah, it's pretty nuts. That isn't a problem, says Caleb. Kabuki Kid. Oh yeah, nice. About having fun. This is the purpose. Laugh out loud, Caleb. To your credit, guy, I was a bear to start. Now then I think of it, once you get through it like 3 times, it's not so bad. Yeah, I agree with that. Thankfully, the BGG marketplace isn't closing now. I used that many times over the years. Oh, they're not closing now, huh? That I had not heard that update. Yeah, that was a weird move for them, man. I picked up a lot of games for BGG marketplace. Darkest Night Second Edition, I got there. Zeds I didn't get there, but I know like I was one of the few places I saw it available. Space Hulk Death Angel I got there. You know, like it's silly games for like that I wanted for like my group, like Last Bastion I got there. You know, it's Galaxy Trucker. Like I through the years, I mean through the ages, I definitely picked up there. So I picked up a number of games through BGG Marketplace that I just love the usefulness of that. I've been trying to find a new home for a few of my games. I keep my collection under 20. Whoa, you are my hero, Caleb. That's amazing. I've had some luck on the Facebook group. I've gotten rid of a few games there. I've been able to do a couple locally, which is nice. The PAX Unplugged Math Trade was effective for me to pick up some games I've been looking for, not necessarily get rid of them. I think I got rid of one game there. But yeah, they are trying to remove all liability for them. It's going to sort of be like a Craigslist. Seller gets a list of games, then it is all between the seller and the buyer, and BGG is hands off, no fees. All right, cool. Cool. That makes sense. Yeah, it was a weird announcement, and it was a weird just a lot of it was strange. But yeah, if they're not charging the fees, I mean the fees were like an honor system anyway, right? So I don't know enough of the legality. I'm sure they were having a hard time with some stuff with it, but yeah, BGG's a funny place. Well, it helps that my friends have massive collections, so I just try to play their stuff rather than buy it, which is unless it's great solo, which I will buy it. Yeah, I'm very much the benefactor of having two friends with huge collections that really supplement my own. But you know, then one of my best friends he was trying to buy Nemesis all in, and he just messed up the pledge manager. So I'm like, dude, I was supposed to be having that on the channel sometime soon. Don't you know? Get your pledge manager right so I can get it on my channel. Yeah, Nemesis is like one of the few games in the top 50 I'd never played. So I'm on BGG, so I'm hoping to experience that at some point for sure. But yeah, I mean, I think on the channel Anachrony I borrowed from a friend. Zaya I borrowed from a friend. I'm gonna get Hadrian's Wall on the channel. I borrowed that from a friend. I have Pax Premier Second Edition from a friend. I'm gonna learn that, get that on the channel soon. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It's good to have good friends. I mean, I'm usually the guy, right? Like if you're playing, I mean, you know, Uprising, Descent, Jaws of the Lion, whatever. Like I'm the one who owns it, but it's nice to have a bunch of friends that supplement all that for sure. But yeah, I mean, one of my friends has like 300-400 games. He has more Kickstarters coming to him than I own games. It's absolutely bananas. I've learned a ton of games. It's like it's great, super great. Yeah, Burn Cycle he had, which is great because I was really happy to try that one. But yeah, that's it. Next week schedule's a little different. No live stream on Monday. I'm gonna do one on Tuesday and Wednesday, and I'm trying to squeeze one in early on Friday. So stay tuned. Tuesday and Wednesday are gonna be long. I'm gonna do Machina Arcana is definitely on the list of things I want to do, and we'll have a Too Many Bones, and then I'm gonna try to squeeze a Maze Night in on Friday. So, you know. I got things happening in my personal life. So, but I do want to get 3 up next week. Week after that, we'll be back to Spirit Island. We'll be back to, I don't know what else I got on the radar. I got a bunch of things on the radar, but I think new games. Shores of Tripoli was a review copy I just got, so I want to get that on the channel. I got a Zeds thing I want to get on the channel, so we definitely have to get back to Zeds. So lots of cool things happening in Solo Playthroughs Land. Again, if you want to see just rough ideas of what to expect in the future weeks and months, you go to my Patreon page, link in the description below. I do a public post, so look for August's public post, and you'll see the titles that are kind of working with right now. Brian Scott says, "Take care, Greg. Take care, Brian. It's always a pleasure to see your name in the chat." That was super cool. I hope everyone has a great weekend. Stay cool, and until next time, happy gaming. Solo.